I've never done it
turn
with
off
such
the
a terrible
heat?
internet speed.
Oh,
I did.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
How's it going, everyone?
I'm not on the network, so I'll tell you in a second.
We got some. It's the Puppet Parent Podcast, but we're experiencing some technical issues that are completely out of our control, which is. But we're just about to record, but we need to reset our Wi-Fi router, but it's upstairs in a locked room where we can't get to. So if this is all janky and weird, don't worry. Catch it non-live. But anyway, we're gonna.
I don't think it is.
We're gonna figure it out.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
But I'm not on the network. I don't know.
But anyway, so we're keeping this up for half a second, so then we'll probably delete this when it's time. Just to make sure that if we're streaming this, that it's at least going out there, it's at least creating a backup. Who knows if it's going to be a good one or not, but we're going to do this anyway, right? Maybe we should just go. Let's just go and we'll just dump this up there later. Are you ready, Z?
Okay.
And if it pops up, it pops up.
All right.
All right?
All right.
You okay, people? You ready?
I don't know that there's anybody out there.
That's okay.
All right. Are we? We're not recording anything.
We are now.
There we go.
Hey.
I mean, our audio.
You ready,
weren't
Z?
recording our audio.
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Puppet Parent Podcast.
I'm Z.
I'm Chad.
And we are parents, puppeteers, and we have a podcast.
That's right.
We are the puppeteers from Wonder Spark Puppets. We are a family puppetry company. And we have been navigating this pandemic weekly through these podcasts and other online content. But since the week of March 17th, we have been doing weekly podcasts.
And you did a thorough explanation last time.
Well,
last episode, so I'd say check that.
There might be new people.
Yeah, but for the people who have heard the 5-minute spiel, I feel like let's cut it down a little bit. We didn't talk about this before the show because I just did a show before the show.
How did your show go?
My show went out. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
We had a client who asked us to do a show with Pokemon, and I said no, but we can put some references in there. Why not? So we did the Case of the Missing Puppy. And the puppy really liked Pokemon, and all the characters had something to say about Pokemon to the point where it got out of hand, and we had to, break the fourth wall and talk about it for a second. That it was like a little ridiculous. It's like, you made a cake, a Pokemon cake for puppies? And he's like, yes. This is adults. This is what adults do with their spare time. And I hope all the adults watching had a good time.
Oh, that sound was the heat turning off finally.
Yes.
So now we'll just be cold while we do our podcast. But it's okay.
It's okay because it's not live because our upload speed is like 0.02 megabytes per second, which... I don't know why, but that's how it is, and we can't fix it, so we're just recording. Here we go.
Rogue.
I'm gonna get my water bottle. I just did a show.
Can you grab my tea?
Yeah.
Unless I left it on top. Oh no, I see it. It's on the table, the octagon table,
Got it.
or whatever shape that is.
Let's talk about this week.
We're so prepared.
Let's talk about.
Look at us.
Let's talk about shopping. Let's talk about Christmas shopping, Z. Because we have had some conversations about Christmas shopping because every year we like to get each other something for Christmas. You get like a family member or maybe a child in your life or like a cousin or niece or a nephew. We always get something for our cousins.
Yes.
Our nieces and nephews out there.
Yes.
Yeah, we always do that. But sometimes it's hard because my sister who lives in Florida, I don't ever see her kids. So it's kind of like a guess, like what do they like? What
I already got
into?
something for them.
What'd you get?
Can we tell? Is this like spoilers? Are they listening?
I'm pretty sure they're
actually,
not listening.
nobody's listening to the second, but do they ever listen?
I don't think so.
All right.
If they did, they've never told me.
All right.
It's not a
Leah
slight on them.
and Seth's kids.
Don't
listen.
You named them. Wow.
Well, yeah. I didn't name the kids. I just said their kids. Don't listen. So they have two very young kids, and so they make these sinks that the water, it's like a toy sink, and the water automatically will recycle itself through the sink. So like it comes
Oh.
out of the faucet. So when you turn the faucet on, water comes out of the faucet.
Is it battery powered?
It is battery powered.
Okay.
And you can wash these color changing dishes. And there's also a little stove unit on the side of it. So that's what we got for them to share as their Christmas present. And then one of them has a birthday that's very, very close to Christmas. So I have to think of a secondary present, but I haven't done that yet.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah.
It's tough. Christmas birthdays.
Well, I will think of a secondary present. That's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I'm definitely probably overbuying a little bit for our kids, but I don't care because that's just how I feel like rolling right now.
Do you remember the last Christmas? And I did this too, hopefully not out loud when I was a kid. But last Christmas, our oldest child, after unwrapping everything, was like looking at the piles, and he was like, we didn't really get much. and I talked to him about it, and I was like, came right there and was like, what do you mean? And like, hey, I think you guys got a lot, right? Like, look at all the stuff. But I think he meant more like maybe in a like a kid is looking at a pile of presents, like if you don't see like a big amount of toys or physical things, maybe it doesn't feel like maybe it needs to be like physical in order to feel like you got a mountain of things.
That's why it can't just be video games. It can't, because they're so tiny, and while they're quite expensive, like they just don't have the representation of Christmas, the look of Christmas afterwards, to be like, look what I got. So I definitely bought a couple of things that are big and silly.
How big?
Well,
you don't have to get into it.
I don't know. I want to talk
That's
about it
disclaimer,
after
right?
Christmas because,
We'll see how we
stuff.
did. We see how we did. I feel like it's a little bit like a test.
I don't even have a plan for Hanukkah right now. I got out the menorah. I put it on a shelf. I felt like that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I hung up these pouches that I had gotten at Disney World last year.
Oh, wow.
For
Disney
Hanukkah.
pouches.
For Hanukkah, 8 pouches. Do I have a plan to put anything in the 8 pouches this year? No, because we're already helping with the elf situation every night and such. So I don't know. There's
Right. We have an elf in our house who visits, and you can be a different place. The elf has visited us in different regions of the country. All you have to do is bring their magic door with you, and that is how they travel to different places. We're pretty sure on that one.
That's how it's worked for us.
Yeah. So we're guessing that the elf opens up the magic door in the middle of the night and it's magic. So is it like a trans-dimensional gateway? Who knows? Does it have to pass through something? Do they live in Santa's workshop, or not in the workshop, I guess, but like up there in the North Pole? Not sure.
But our elf's name is Jingle,
That's
and
right.
he comes to visit, and he's here, and we're really happy he's here. And the boys sometimes write notes to him, and there's an elf mailbox, so our elf has been writing back, which has been really nice, and that's very sweet. And our elf is always up in a high place, so that there's no touching of the elf.
Well, I think it's more just like there's a big dog.
There's also a dog.
Yeah, and I think
well,
elves,
he needs to be able to see because he's like observing our family for the month.
I think it might be like vacation for elves because they work on
we're
those
just
toys
figuring
at
it
Santa's
out.
workshop all year long, and then they're like, "Yo, get me out of here! I want to go hang out with these people. They seem nice."
Yeah.
For a month, and write pen pal letters to cool people and hide. And this elf is always in a different and new situation every day. We come upon them. It's always hard to find them sometimes.
Yes. So it's been fun, but I'm feeling a little like I want to make everything super special, but then I'm also feeling like I'm totally exhausted, you guys, and so I don't know. Whew. It's just a lot. I mean, is anyone else feeling like they could use a pep talk? Because I am feeling like we all need a pep talk right now. All the fellow parents need a pep talk because it's grim, man. Like the news
The news
is not good.
Oh.
And like, we're living with your parents. We've been living with Chad's parents since June 1st. And the news is on all the time.
You can't escape the
All
news.
the time. And so as much as I'm just trying to like limit my intake and only read the newspaper like in the morning or in the evening, like once, that's it. It's still like you can't avoid the news.
The news.
And I don't know. It's tough. I miss having people watching us while we're doing this. It's funny. It's like you'd think I'd be cool like with just doing it with you, but I miss having the live component. It's not.
You
It's
like
not
to be
live.
Watched while you.
I guess I like that
podcast.
voyeur.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, the internet's not coming back.
No, it hates us.
Oh no, wait, nope,
that's from
that's
last
the old
week.
one.
So
Oh
anyway,
well, and I posted something about people should join us too. Didn't know that the upload speed would be just I don't know what. Maybe I should start a tradition of going in Fridays and just resetting the Wi-Fi like every Friday. Like, hey ladies, here we go, boop boop, and just reset it for
I
good
don't know.
measure.
I don't know. The only other thought that I had is that you mentioned that you uploaded a couple of larger files and that they throttled us because of it.
And they shouldn't.
I don't know.
sometimes
so
they
then
do.
you need to call.
Yeah. Well, if you know what, I think this is just propelling me to finally have like a go-to number for them, right?
Yeah.
Because I
think
don't
so.
have that because
No.
I'm not because we're piggybacking on somebody else right now.
Right, but we are using it
Yeah.
every day. Anyway, this is part of being out here, you guys. But we're so thankful to be out here. I mean, that's the thing is like you get like, oh God. And then you say, but I'm so thankful. We're so like, I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that, but I feel like it's like this constant mix of emotions of like feeling like joy and despair and like
Whoa.
happy. All right, maybe that's too much, but
No,
I'm dramatic.
That's like a
I theater. I'm a theater person. But I'm feeling like all sorts of emotions all the time, all mixed up at once. And then when somebody asks me how I'm doing, I don't know how to answer that question. I just feel like, good? Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, I'm not bad, but I'm definitely feeling like, like every day. And like I'll wake up and some days I'll be like, you know what? We're going to make today super special for the boys. It's going to be so great. I don't have work today because it's Saturday. This was yesterday. I'm just going to play with the boys all day. That's all I'm going to do. Play with the boys. But then you get to about halfway through the day and you realize, oh, you know what? I have things I have to do. Right. I have things I have to do. So then I start doing those things and then the time starts eating away. And then it's like, oh, it's Saturday. I have to make dinner because I make dinner on Saturdays. And I'm so thankful to not have to make dinner every single day of the week. But, you know, I do have to make dinner some days. And then I chose something really complicated because I don't know why. Because I didn't want to go to the grocery store to buy anything else. And I knew how to make this and I knew everybody would eat it. So
these are all good reasons.
it was the first thing that came into my mind. I was like, I'm going to make homemade pierogies because I know how. And while it's complicated, I know everybody will eat it and that will be a nice thing. So I will do the nice thing. And I didn't have the brain capacity to make another choice. Like once that choice was made in my brain, it was like, that's the only option.
That's it.
There's no other option.
You started down that path, the pierogi path.
Then I was like,
You're like
that's
tiptoeing
that's
down
what we're
little
doing.
pierogi
We're gonna
cobblestones in your
drink
mind.
wine and make pierogies. And then the kids wanted to help, which is super sweet, but also made it take longer, which is what happens. But that's fine. See, it's like that mix of like, I'm happy, right? We're happy.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, joy and despair. Now, those two words,
Oh, God.
those two words, it's
gonna
funny.
come back to haunt me.
Well, no. It reminds me of a video game. Now, this video game franchise called Danganronpa, which is look, I got to replace that. Everybody want to see? Anybody not watching at home? Yeah. So we used a real kitchen prop for a prop in a show because we were desperate and it needed to happen. And now the sugar has leaked out and rusted, and it's awful
It's
and
salt.
terrible.
It's real salt.
Salt. Oh, excuse me. I
It's
call it
salt.
sugar, but anyway, it just means we need to replace this thing. We need to replace some props
Yeah.
from one of those shows.
Okay.
I did the first live performance of our new Hanukkah show, which the first time, you like dress rehearsal, the first time you tape it, that's fine. It's a controlled environment. But when you're doing it live in front of people, there's a pressure. And
How'd it go?
It went okay. Everyone was pleased. The audience never knows that you may have forgotten to do a couple of
Or
the
tried new
things that
things.
you wanted to do. Yeah, or new things start happening. You're just snowballs. Like, okay, we did that. Oh no, how do we get out of there? Dig yourself out. No, it's not working. I'm just digging myself deeper into this pit. No, thankfully it wasn't like that. But I did forget a couple of key things. I was just going in through a scene feeling like, oh, I didn't look over this scene before we started because I looked over through everything except this one scene. Scene begins and I'm just like, ugh, not like blank slate, but like I know how this ends, but I forget the middle. And then we just passed over the middle and just kind of like, we're done with that scene. Goodbye. And then afterwards it's like, oh man. Oh, next time. But the audience didn't care.
Live
whatever.
theater.
It's just like a thing that happened. Yeah, even though we're doing it over Zoom, right? Live theater still applies. Anything can happen.
I'm still amazed that we're able to make anything right now because I'm just so stressed out. Like, and I'm not as stressed out as I was in New York City, but I'm still like, I think that all of it is just stress, like related, and just this feeling of like not allowing myself to feel too okay, right? Because you don't want to relax too much because you don't want to forget and like do something stupid, like go in someplace without a mask on, or like I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm constantly having to remind myself because while we're out here and why we're out here. And I don't know, I'm not even sure that I said that right, but I'll tell you, every single morning I wake up and it's a reminder of what's happening because we're not home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So every time I wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, right, pandemic, right, it's really bad right now, right. And I mean, I'm back to a place of like, I'm not going to any stores anymore, and I don't know when I'm going to go to another store again. And I didn't even really realize the last time I was in a store that I wasn't going to go back to a store again for a while.
Yeah, that was like you didn't realize this was the last time I was going to be in a store. Yep, but there are other ways to support stores. I mean, we've had a lot of people go out of the way to try and support us, which has been super awesome.
And we've made a couple of purchases to some puppetry artists as well. There are friends of ours who are making things and selling things. So
my buddy down in North Carolina, or actually I think it's Virginia, who has a video game store, been shopping locally there.
Yeah.
And actually shopping locally for video games works out pretty well because there's a lot of shortages happening in the video game world. Like there's new consoles launching, but nobody can find them anywhere because of the huge amount of demand. And Animal Crossing, you can't get that new anywhere.
Really?
But you can get it at a video game store. Yeah, it's been
wow.
ever since the new Animal Crossing, which is a video game for
I
the
thought
Nintendo
everybody had it
Switch.
already.
Well, back in March when it first came out, they didn't anticipate there would be such a huge demand. Thanks to the global pandemic, the video game industry is super crazy strong right now because everyone's sitting at home. So it was really hard to find. Then everybody got it, but now that the holidays are back again, that game has become impossible to find again. So scalpers jack up the prices. They're doing that with the PS5. You can't buy a PlayStation 5. It just came out. You can't find it anywhere. And even on Facebook Marketplace and any other usual cheap places where you can find stuff you can't usually find anywhere else, like Kroger's, they're not there, or they're twice as much as what they should be. And people are paying. People are paying $1,000 for a $400 item because you can't get it.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a little nuts.
Wow.
So, yeah, support your local video game stores, ladies and germs. because not only is it a good thing to do, support local business, but you're going to find things there you won't be able to find anywhere else.
What's the name of your friend's store in Virginia?
Oh, it's pretty sure it's the Super Game Station, but let me just
While you double check that. And then we also have a local New Jersey video game store that we really like to support as well, called Digital Press.
That's right.
So we love Digital Press in New Jersey, and they are within very close driving distance to New York City.
Clifton, New Jersey.
Yeah, and they're great. We love that store. And the name of Chad's video game store, Chad's Friends video game store is...
so it's Super Game Station. So if you go to supergamestation.com, he's an awesome guy. You got to follow him on social media because it's his lifelong dream to have a video game store.
Oh.
He finally has one.
Oh.
He's like buying things from people, like collectors and stuff, or just regular people. You can sell them your stuff. And he posts whatever gets traded in onto his social media and categorizes it. And he streams. He's also a musician. So he's just like, he does these early morning streams where he's like playing on a guitar and cooking bacon at the same time, and he's just a really awesome guy.
Yay.
Yeah, John Yamin.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
he's really cool.
So support some local video game stores that aren't a chain. That's what we're recommending. Super Game Store, Super Game Station, and
.com.
Digital Press. Those
Yeah.
are our two recommendations for the East Coast. Yeah, we went to the library the other day. Our 5-year-old is starting to be able to read, although he doesn't want other people to know that he can read yet. I think that he wants to, I think he wants to be really, really good at it before he like pronounces that he can read to other people. But he's doing a great job. And
his older brother, I mean, it's like younger brother syndrome where your older brother is so good at it.
Yeah, it's true.
When you're just beginning, you're not super good at it. It makes you very self-conscious.
He's a little intimidated, I think.
It's like that. It's like that with video games too, because we all play video games together.
Yeah.
We've been playing this game called Pixel Junk Monsters 2, which is this lovely tower defense game. It's 2-player. It's cooperative, not competitive. You play up to 4 players online, and they love it. But he is very hesitant to be confident in it because even though he really wants to be good at it and he likes it, he wants everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
So he can be, like as good as the other people in his life.
He does like to do that. Yeah. And he gets very frustrated. So, but anyway, things are going okay in that area.
Yeah.
And then looming on the horizon in January, February, our in-laws are going to be gone. It looks like they're going to be traveling.
We'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see. They're not changing their travel plans.
We'll see what the future holds for about 5 weeks. And so it will be the Z and Chad show full time for 5 weeks.
Yeah, that means no more just opening up the fridge and the fridge is fully stocked and you're like, what meat product should I eat for this meal?
I feel like it'll be a bit of a detox, if anything.
That's true.
We'll probably have less meat, but that's good. And
I was basically a vegetarian for a bit.
I know.
For a bit in the city. Now it's like we're a meatitarian because we're just eating meat with every
Carnivores.
single meal.
We are carnivores.
And that is not
out
a
here.
knock on anything. We're omnivores.
No.
We eat all kinds of stuff. I'm just saying, like, the stocked fridge is gone.
I think, you know what? I think this is a great example, though. The other night, on Thursday night, your dad suggested that we ordered Chinese takeout.
Yes.
Which we haven't done since we've been here. Nobody has ordered Chinese takeout.
Right.
And I think that maybe the last time we had Chinese takeout was February because we didn't order out any food when we were when
during the pandemic,
once things shut down.
Because it was, you didn't know, like,
we just didn't know
you just
what
didn't,
was
you
going
didn't
to
know
happen.
anything. It was scary, and people thought that even just ordering groceries, you had to alcohol wipe everything down.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
it was nuts.
Yeah, and so we were like, if we don't have to order anything, we won't. And so we made everything, and so we didn't have Chinese food. And I will tell you, that Chinese food on Thursday night was the best tasting thing that I have had in so long because it was like flavors that I didn't even realize that I missed. I was like, oh my gosh, it's tofu because I got General Tso's tofu, even though it's not necessarily my favorite dish, but it's just like so reminiscent of home in a sense to me, like my home, New York City, my home. And so I just ate it, and it was like such a food memory. I couldn't stop talking about it at the table. I think I might have embarrassed myself slightly, but I was so moved by the taste of it, because everything out here that my in-laws make is so bland, and I don't really make anything that has a lot of spice in it, or if I do, it's only for me, and like it's hard to make that kind of like single portion, and even then it's like you're trying to make something, but you can't really make that kind of like robustness in a single serving. And I don't know, it was awesome, and I didn't realize how much I missed Chinese food. But just having access to something like that, and then getting to eat it, and that somebody else made it, and that had this whole other flavor palette that I loved. I mean, I guess I just really love food in this very intense, visceral way. And I don't know that anyone else in the house feels that way about food, the way that I feel about food. Like, I will go out of my way to make something because I just want it, and I want it that way, and I want it, but, every kids, they're typical kids, and they don't really like new things as much. And then your parents like more bland things, and you've expanded your palate tremendously since we've been together and we've been together a long time. But anyway, but if I were to ask you, what would you like for dinner? You're just like, whatever. Because you don't have like that, you don't care that much
That's
about
correct.
food.
I don't care that much about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But what I do care about, I care about a lot. I will tell you, I'm so happy that you had a great food experience, because I did not have a great food experience at all.
I was just missing the flavoring.
I think that's why you had a good experience, because it was like a visceral food memory for you. For me, it was the opposite. I was like, what is this? This is not General Tso's. How do you mess up General Tso's? I've only had somebody mess up a Chinese restaurant, mess up General Tso's once before in my life, and it's because they forgot to add the sauce. There's barely any sauce. It was dry.
Maybe we
bad.
should try to make General Tso's.
This was the opposite, where I opened up the styrofoam container.
Which is all first. That's the first no
Yeah.
is styrofoam, because in New York City you're not allowed to use styrofoam anymore.
It's terrible for the environment. It never goes away.
You know what? That is a sign of how long we've been out here, because when we first moved out here, I would have been like, oh, styrofoam. And now I'm like, styrofoam, which is horrible, because I'm the person who like composts and is zero waste and like reduce, reuse, renew, recycle. Like, I mean, that is me. And here I am getting